Hey everyone, I'm Kendra.
And I'm Kayla. And Kendra and I have been talking for the last few weeks. For those of you who actually watch our videos every week, you'll notice we took a bit of a hiatus because we're really just reflecting on everything that's been going on lately, and we felt like it wouldn't be right for us to post any of the other content we had planned without addressing the situation first. So yeah, for today's video, we really want to talk about the Black Lives Matter movement, what's currently going on in the world, and just have an open discussion about that, and share some of our experiences and things like that.
Yeah, so I guess we'll just kick things off with like the whole Blackout Tuesday, because I feel like that's when everything really ramped up, at least in my opinion, because before that, like after the George Floyd video came out, like a lot of people I know were still silent and nobody was really talking about the issue of anti-Black racism and like how awful it was to see that video. So I think Blackout Tuesday, a lot of people really stepped it up, I guess, and started to be a part of the conversation. So yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about the Black Square. I mean, I actually do commend some people for posting it and going above and beyond as to posting the Black Square, just like posting information as well, posting links and stuff like that, because I feel like the Black Square was nice, but obviously the Black Lives Matter movement involves so much more than that, and like there's so much education to be done. So I really liked how a lot of people were sharing information on that day.
For me, I just want to say I feel like I was a little disappointed with some people as well, because before the whole Blackout Tuesday, there are people in my circle, non-Black people, other people of color, who have seen me or who have spoken to me, and I felt like they didn't really take the time to ask, like, are you okay, or say, hey, I see what's going on in the world right now, like, how are you doing? Like, they didn't really acknowledge the situation at all, basically. But then for Blackout Tuesday, I just see them posting like, oh, we're with the community and we're here for the Black community, and in my head I'm just like, oh, but you didn't check on me. Like, I don't know, maybe they were checking on their other friends, but it's like, to me, they didn't acknowledge the situation socially, I feel like, but on social media, they were putting on this big facade. So it just seemed kind of fake
Yeah,
to
I
me.
kind of
I
felt
don't
that
know.
too, because I know a lot of people, because the George Floyd video came out like a few days before like Blackout Tuesday. So I too felt like a lot of people in my circle were like super super quiet, and no one asked me like, oh my god, I see, like what's going on, like everyone's talking about this and that, like how are you doing after all of this. But as soon as Blackout Tuesday came, like everyone started messaging me, and like, and I was also posting a lot on social media, and like no one really said anything to me. Like a couple of people replied to my stories or whatever, but on Blackout Tuesday and afterwards, that's when like everyone started messaging me and everyone started checking in on me. So it was just kind of weird just to see that it took something like a social media movement for people to actually say, hey, like I have people in my circle that I maybe should decide to check on, kind of thing. Like it just goes to show you how people, I don't want to say prioritize social media, but it's kind of like, oh, my first thing is, oh, I need to post this, like I need to get involved with this movement, and you just actually kind of forget that, wow, there are actually people in my real life that are affected by this that I can also shoot a message to, that will see the Black Square and be like, oh, how come this person didn't say anything to me?
And I feel like a lot of people also posted the Black Square because they didn't want to look bad. And I say this because I personally know this as a fact. I've had people tell me, oh, so and so was worried that if they didn't post that, it would look bad on them, so that's why they did it or whatever. So in my head, I'm like, that obviously is so fake. So it's like, if it's not genuine, then just don't do it. So it really hurt me to hear that some people are taking this as opportunity to just show that they're a good person, when in reality they didn't even want to do it.
Yeah, it's just kind of fake, I guess you could say. Because, yeah, I actually do know a few people who, behind the scenes, are like, oh, how can I capitalize on this social media movement? Like, how can I look good to my followers? Like, how can I gain more followers from this? So, some people are acting like they're an ally and really acting like they're for the community, but it's all self-motivation. Or is that the right word? I don't even know. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's what it is.
It's just all just for them and just trying to help better their following or better their image, kind of thing, but they actually don't really care.
Yeah, and for us, it's like a lot, I guess, because with Ahmaud Arbery, George Floyd, and all these other shootings, and killings of Black men and women. Like, let's not forget Breonna Taylor. Of course, people are trying to, there's a lot of petitions out there to get the police involved in that matter, arrested. But yeah, I just feel like people are like, oh my God, I didn't know racism existed. Or like more specifically, I didn't know racism existed in Canada to us. But it's like, for us as Black women, it's just like, this has always been a thing. So yeah, it's just interesting to see that like a lot of people are just kind of opening their eyes now to what's going on.
And it just kind of shows you like the privilege and like the bubble, I guess, that some people are in. So like it's nice that now people are kind of really seeing like what other people have to go through, and not even just Black people, just minorities as well in general, have to deal with like this prejudgment and these stereotypes and just racism in general. Like I know for me, I kind of touched on this in like a chat I had today with some people, but yeah, microaggressions is something that is really, really, really common, and I think people don't really notice like when they're doing it. But for example, like ever since I can remember, like people have been saying you're not even Black, like you don't even count, like you're this and you're that, and people kind of say that just because of the way I speak, I guess, and like the way I act. And there's just a misconception that I guess acting ghetto is being Black and acting ratchet is what a Black person is supposed to be. And it's like those aren't the same thing. Like being a Black person doesn't mean that you have to act ratchet. Like when you really look at what you're saying, you act white or you sound white. What does that mean? How can someone sound white? How can someone act white? It's like you're just putting this prejudgment and stereotype on someone and saying they should act a certain way, and if they don't, I guess typically people associate like being articulate with being white.
Yeah. So it's like if you actually are well spoken,
it's like, oh, you sound white. Yeah. But it's like, what? So only white people can be articulate? So I just really want people to look up what microaggressions is and just really kind of understand it more, because I've heard it so much, and like I faced it so much, like in a workplace, school, like people have made comments. So it's just something that I think people aren't aware of as much as they should be, but I think it's kind of coming to light more now. So that's something I really want people to focus on.
And we said that we were going to do a video dedicated to just that, so stay tuned for that. But yeah, like just going back to the movement, the Black Lives Matter movement, it just really triggered some stuff for me too. Just brought back some high school memories. And, hearing things like, we're walking home with our friends, our white friends, and it was like a sunny day, I remember. And one of them said, he was this popular guy, like everyone loved him, he's tall, blonde hair, blue eyes type of guy, But yeah, like we're walking home with him, and it was a really hot day out, and he was like, oh, you guys need to move away from me because you're attracting the sun. And it was just like,
does that even make sense?
Yeah, I guess he's definitely basically saying like, oh, because you guys are Black, like Black attracts the sun or whatever. But it was like, that's just so stupid to me. And at the time, we just kind of laughed it off. Like, and I always think back to it, and I'm just like, I wish I had said something, but instead I was quiet. And I guess I was scared. I just wanted to, fit in. I didn't want to seem like I was being that aggressive Black girl. So yeah, I kind of just laughed it off. But things like that is just. And then, making the racist jokes at lunchtime and even right in front of us. But it's just like...
Yeah, I know there are so many times where I actually, in high school, like, sat and ate my lunch, like, somewhere else or in the bathroom a lot of the times, just because, like, I just couldn't deal with the people I was hanging around. Like, they would be making all kind of racist jokes. It was like, I feel like some people use racism as, like, a defense mechanism, or, like, it's kind of, like, their way of, like, trying to be funny or like humorous, and they're not really realizing, or sometimes you do realize that like your words are affecting people and are harmful and hurtful. So this one person in particular, like jokes and like comedy was like his defense mechanism. I feel like it was like, oh, like I want people to like me, and like so I'm gonna just make a joke about everything. And I have such an issue with people who like you can't have a serious conversation with.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
It's like one of my biggest pet peeves. Like if I'm trying to have a conversation with you and all you can do is make jokes, like I just can't. So he was definitely one of those people that turned to racist jokes to get laughs from people and like to kind of fit in. So I just couldn't deal with it anymore. Like I just ate my lunch in the bathroom, like, and that's kind of sad because I had no other friends at lunch. So yeah, those are just some experiences that people go through.
And it's just like, even thinking about in the workplace, or, I remember like our job hunt back in the early days when we were trying to get a job. We were just worried about like, how should our hair be, or like,
Yeah.
are they gonna hire us? And the first thing that we always head to, and I know a lot of Black people do, is like the roster. We want to see, is there anyone that looks like us? At least one person we're begging for.
Like, you just don't want to be the only one. Like, it's just so
Yeah.
awkward when you walk into a building. But now I've kind of gotten over that. It's kind of like you just have to own it and just be proud. But it is nice just to see someone that looks like you and is relatable. But yeah, it's sad to say, like, when I'm applying for a job, I look at who the managers are, who the VPs are. Like, is there someone that might see me and be like, oh, let me give this minority a chance? Like,
Yeah.
because I just feel like we already have like this, our skin color just already comes with so much judgment, and like people will look at me and just say, I don't know if the client's gonna be comfortable with someone that looks like them presenting, or someone that looks like them in the room. And like, these are real things that people say, and people might watch this video and say, oh, like, I wouldn't think like that, but maybe you wouldn't. But there are a ton of people who still have like that old school mentality that like white people should be in like higher positions, like minorities, Black people are basically at the bottom and just
like,
stay at the bottom.
And then like, even going back to our hair, it's like, oh, is this work gonna be accepting of me wearing braids? Because dreads and locks and things like that have been so discriminated against in the workplace, especially. So,
and even in school, like, there's so many kids that have gotten kicked out of school for having afros and like their natural hair. So
yeah, so I know that was always a worry for me. So we just have so many things to deal with or to think about. I know at one point I was just like, why don't we just put our photos on our resume? Because I'm just tired. Like, I just want people to already see us, know that we're Black. If they don't want to hire us, they don't want to hire us. So at one point we did do that. We had photos on our resumes. Not the best choice, but
you just want to know, okay, like, this company already sees what I look like, and they at least brought me to the interview stage, so hopefully there are no surprises. But then there are those moments where it's like they're trying to meet a quota, so it's like, oh, you know what, like, let me just interview this person, and then you just never make it to the next phase. Or at a company you're at, maybe there's 2 Black people, if you're lucky 4, and then eventually I feel like they always just die off, and it's just like 1 Black person or no Black people.
Yeah, so it's just like, we just always have these doubts in the back of our mind, and it's sad to say, but that's because of all the things that we've been dealing with. So, we're right. In my opinion, it's like, we shouldn't have to feel that way, but we do, because some people do have this in their head. Like, oh, she has braids. Like, I don't want to bring her to a client meeting. Like, there are some people that think that way. So,
yeah, and I think also it's good to mention that, like, I already said this, but as Black people, we have so much judgment against us already just based on the color of our skin. So that's why we always have to work so much harder, like always have to fight so much harder for opportunities, because we already just have this holding us back. So it's just like, oh, I want to present in that presentation. And maybe you might be nervous to speak up, because who knows, the upper senior management might kind of be hesitant, because again, like, people have this old school mentality that, oh, that girl with braids, like, oof, I don't know if she goes into the room, like, what's the client gonna say? So it's just something that's always in the back of our head, even if we don't work with people like that, or even if like management is not like that, but it's just something that you always wonder and worry about in the back of your head, because you just never know. Because even sometimes I've heard people say no to me when I've asked something, and I'm kind of wondering, like, did they say no to me because they just don't think I'm qualified, or is it because they're judging me, like, based on my skin color, kind of thing? And a lot of people will probably look at this and say, like, oh, well, not everyone's racist, but like, as a Black person, you have to understand that, like, that worry and that anxiety is just like always there, because you just never know. And like, so many people have missed out on opportunities because of the color of their skin. So that's why you always have to work harder and just like make it impossible for them not to give you those opportunities. And like, let's say if you're interning, like, not to hire you, like, you just always have to, if someone else is packing 2 mailers, like, you better pack 20 in 1 hour. Like, you just have to work that much harder.
Yeah. And circling back to the movement again, it was also shocking to me to see that so many of these kids, or these people in high school who I have such traumatic experiences with in regards to racism, they were the ones that were posting the most about this Black Lives Matter movement. And I was just like, I mean, I hope they change now, but I mean, all you do is hope that they change, because it was high school. But yeah, like, in my head, I'm like, you guys are the ones that made life so traumatic, and then here you are saying you're with the community. But people change, so hoping for the best. But
Yeah, and I think one thing I also want to touch on is that like I hope this energy, I want to call it, like doesn't die down, because I know after Blackout Tuesday I already started seeing people who were posting a lot and like actually trying to educate themselves kind of drop off.
And then Juneteenth came.
Yeah, and there's like that bit of fatigue, I guess. I forgot what the actual term was, but I read it somewhere. Was it like activism fatigue or something like that? But it's like people are just, I guess, kind of exhausted. But like as Black people, like we can't really be exhausted. Like this is like
never tired.
It's like our day-to-day experience. So like while other people can check out, it's like for us, it's like even if we're not posting on social media, like racism is something that we still have to deal with. So I just really encourage people to still keep up with the movement, still further educate yourselves, and like figure out how you can be a better ally.
Yeah, and you know, this video is probably really long, but we felt like it was a necessary one. We definitely want to share our experiences with racism. One instance in particular, our experience at Trinity Bellwoods. Some people know this already, but we really want to go into detail about it and kind of hone in on, you know, racism in Canada. It's a thing. So stay tuned for the next video to hear about that. But yeah, like Kendra said, we just want to encourage everyone, especially our non-Black friends, to help keep the momentum going. And yeah, spread the word.
And to all the Black people out there, like, you're strong, you're beautiful, and just like keep fighting and keep pushing. Until next time, thank you guys for watching.
Bye.